Morning, today I'm going to show you how to make my kombucha. I've already fermented kombucha in this jar. I removed it. That's called primary fermentation. Here some of it came in nice and sweet. You always want to leave some of the old kombucha. That's what this is. And your scobies, leave it in there. In the original kombucha, that's the environment that they're already used to. They're good to go, and you're going to need that to help you kick off your new batch. Okay. A lot of people would like to do what's called secondary fermentation, and what that is, you mix different juices, you pick whichever you want, and there's sugar in the juice, right? So it will react with the yeast, of course, and it will carbonate your bottles when you do your secondary kombucha. So let me show you what that is. So I've already mixed a small amount of juice with kombucha and I lock my bottles. They will sit here for about a week, but you have to experiment. Depends on the strength of your tea. Some people say 3-4 days, some people say a week. It all depends, experiment, but this will carbonate your bottle so that it gives you kind of a soda effect, nice and fizzy. And then you don't want to leave them in fermenting in room temperature for too long because they could overcarbonate, and then when you open them they could explode. So that's something you will eventually figure out if you're really serious about making kombucha. And then when it's fermented, you want to put it in the fridge, and that will stop the fermentation process. And then also kombucha tastes better when it's cold, right? So you'll get that soda, nice fizzy type of effect, and it should come out perfect. So kombucha is nothing more than water, tea, and sugar. I've already mixed my batch size in here. So once I achieve a nice rolling boil, I will do it for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, something like that, just to make sure it all mixes in. So I put my tea in here, my sugar, right? Then when it's all ready and brewed, you just turn it off. You can do an ice bath if you have a sink low spot like I do to bring down the temperature, because you do have to bring down the temperature of your new brew to room temperature, to safe temperature. You cannot put hot kombucha with your existing live organism. It will kill it. So don't do that, please. So I just achieved my rolling boil. That's what a rolling boil is. You see a nice uh, bubbles coming out, right? So then you can just adjust your heat here so that it's not too strong. And from this point on, once you see a rolling boil, start your timer. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, right? Your should be black. Your tea should be nice and black. So keep your recipe nearby. I just put a rubber band around it, around my jar. And it stays with the jar. And then on the other side of the paper, you can put dates to tell you when you started your fermentation. That's it. Now, I've been brewing beer for 9 years. One of the things is people put cheesecloths or different type of cloths over your brewing vessel, right? Because this has to breathe. That's the difference with this stuff over beer. And there's bad things that are floating in the air and dust. There's bacteria, there's mold, that kind of stuff. So, and this will affect your how lively your mother will be. So what I do is I basically, because when you think about it, your SCOBY is fermenting the sugars and it's creating CO2 gas and small amount of alcohol, right? That, I mean, let's be real here. Kombucha has small amounts of alcohol, but all that I do is I take the lid and I put it like this. That's it. I don't screw it on. That's good enough to let your fermenter breathe, and as your SCOBY is fermenting, it's creating CO2 gas. So there's positive pressure inside this fermenting vessel, and it lets it out, right? Because this is not screwed on. That's it. And the fact that the lid is a solid piece of plastic, nothing will get in there. Think about it, because it would have to go from underneath, go past all the threads, and then kind of, if something gets in there, it's a very minute amounts, and it still allows your brewing vessel to breathe. So this is what I do. I just put it like that. And I found by observation that my mother's become really clean. They don't have any funky colors or anything like that that really develops that I've seen other people have issues with. I solved a lot of that stuff just by common sense observation and some of the stuff I've learned in brewing beer for the last 9 years. But basically just put your lid, boom, that's it. you don't need any cheesecloths really, unless you want to do that. I've fermented my tea like this a dozen times now. I never had a single issue. I don't have any issues with bad batches, or when I look at my SCOBY, I don't see funky colors. I don't see any blues or anything like that. I mean, it just looks normal, like you expect it to look. And my tea comes out really nice and sweet. So that's it. As far as measuring your water, I measure it, and I put the water into the brewing vessel. I'm gonna make tea, so I would fill this one all the way like this, and then since I have some small amount of kombucha, I would measure from about here, and these two volumes together of water I put in here, and I put my tea, my sugar, and mix it all up. I achieve a nice rolling boil, and then I set in, and then like I said previously, 15 minutes or so. Just let it all brew, nice strong brew. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube about kombucha, right? A lot of them, how to make kombucha. There's people show you the health benefits, pros and cons of it. So I would encourage you to watch more of that so you can learn how to make kombucha. But kombucha is really easy. Just some common sense. You just employ some common sense. So this kombucha, I just use the flask that I have flasks like these from brewing beer. I just put some tin foil over it, and this will go into my fridge, and I will drink that as I want to drink. I will pour out whatever I need from this and drink it. But of course, people use the bottles for that as well, or whatever, even jars. You could use a jar for it like this. All right. So that's it, pretty much. This is what I do when I make kombucha. Thank you.